including a juvenile Duro spider. Until next time, for the Farm Monitor, I'm Ranger Nick, reminding you, like I always do, that enthusiasm is contagious. Well, coming to you this month from my home county of Oconee County, and when I'm driving around in this county looking at all these beautiful cornfields, I often wonder to myself about cover crops. What is on the ground in between these beautiful rows of corn that provides such a benefit? And there's a certain person that knows something about it, and he just so happens to be here in the cornfield today, and that's Dr. Nick Van Singer.
How you doing? Great to see you.
Hey, Doc, so good to see you today out in the field. I want to talk about cover crops.
Sure.
You're a weed scientist in the College of Ag at UGA. Let's talk about why cover crops. What is so important about that? We talk about it, but what's the value?
Yeah, so cover crops are kind of grown opposite of when we normally would grow our cash crops. So a lot of times what we'll do is we'll grow like a winter cover crop, right? So things like cereal rye, things like crimson clover are really common. And so what we're doing is we plant those and we let them grow through the winter, and we get the benefit of additional biomass, right? And that biomass helps us deal with weeds. We'll actually go and we'll lay that cover crop down. It'll create a nice big mat. And those weeds have a hard trouble coming up through that, right?
You create a canopy.
They basically create a giant blanket for the ground. And so those plants have a hard time coming up through that cover crop. They also provide benefits in terms of like holding a lot of soil moisture, which we all know crops need to grow well. They also provide the ability for water to move into the soil very quickly, right? So a lot of times we'll see water run off of the field without a cover crop, but when we have a cover crop there, it holds that moisture right where the crop really wants it. Just like a sponge. And so, you know, cover crops provide a lot of benefits to our main crop, like corn.
All right, so let's go below ground. We're out here in the field. Dr. Matt Levi, good to see you, Doc.
Good morning.
So, Associate Professor of Soil Science in the College of Ag at UGA, you were just telling me something about soil and the value of soil in the context of cover crops. Tell me more about that.
Sure. So one really important thing about soils is that they sustain life as we know it. One way they do that is by storing a lot of carbon and organic material. So we get a lot of nutrients, such as nitrogen, mixed in with that organic matter. Kind of a fun fact about soils is that they are the largest pool of carbon in the terrestrial environment. So
in the world?
In the world.
Wow.
Only second to the oceans.
Wow.
And so with that organic matter stored in our soil, we really need to focus on things to improve that cycling of nutrients and also store more carbon.
And so in the context of cover crops, we're looking at some beautiful, I would call, I think for sure, some beautiful coloration of soils. Talk to us about, there's a difference here in the darker and the lighter color.
Sure. So in the surface, you can see that we have this very dark colored brown soil, right? So there's a lot of organic material mixed in. You can see some of the old stubble from previous crops. You can see root material sticking out from this bed of different varieties and different sizes. But what we can't see is all the small organisms that live here and essentially cycle nutrients through this soil. Sometimes we get lucky and we can actually see evidence that those critters have been here. You can see this large pore here. This is created from, this is what we call a biopore. It's created from probably an earthworm.
It was
big
active.
A big one.
Go fishing with that guy.
That's right. And so, you know, underneath we can see roots sticking out of this soil bed. And so there's a lot of living things happening here in the surface. If we contrast that to soil that's much deeper in the profile, then we can see our characteristic red soils of Georgia, right? And so in this case, this field has been in cover crops for some time. And so there's some mixing of browns and reds here with this upper B horizon.
All right, Nick, so we've been above ground, we've been below ground. What's the future of cover crop research?
Well, Nick, thanks. Yeah, we're really just focusing on how we manage this living mulch, right? So one of the challenges that we really face is dealing with weeds that move in, right? So we're really looking at how do we manage the weeds in this, right? It's a living thing, just like, you know, just like our crop. And so that's one of the things we're really going to be looking at in the future is how do we manage weeds in this perennial white clover so that we can have it last as long as possible.
So the cover crop's not just for corn. What other kind of things are we studying?
Yeah, so we've also done work in cotton, and we've looked at the benefits of the living mulch in corn and in cotton, providing nitrogen, providing ground cover, and really helping those crops out, fixing its own nitrogen, providing it to the crop. So it's a great benefit in both ways.
And getting in the field one time, putting it down once, planting.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? Living mulch. That is a cool phrase to learn more about.
Absolutely.
I learned a lot, Nick. Thank you so much
Absolutely.
for today.
Thanks.
It's been great to hang out together. So y'all know what to do. Hop online and learn more about cover crops. And while you're online, check out the Ranger Nick Facebook page, the Farm Monitor Facebook page. And until next time, Nick, like we always say, enthusiasm is contagious.
Indeed it is.
So pass it on. Y'all, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you right back here again this time next month. See ya. Holding a juvenile Juro spider. Until next time, for the Farm Monitor, I'm Ranger Nick, reminding you like I always do, that enthusiasm is contagious.